Yes, I'm here. I made it. What am I looking at? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. I hope that you are not worrying about your stocks too much because everything's crashing right now. Most of you stackers may very well not have any stocks, so that might not mean anything to you. But in any case, yes, it is Black Monday. That's not what I'm here to talk about, though. Hello, transient stacker. Good morning. I had a great weekend. It's already bouncing back. All right, stocks are bouncing back. You heard it here first. I wasn't worried at all. In fact, I actually bought more stocks. I was like, the price is so low. I'm paying a third less than for something I paid a third more for like 2 weeks ago. So I actually bought more stocks this weekend. I wasn't worried about it. Not that I have a lot of stocks, I know. I have an IRA that I do with my pal Fish. Got like $1,000 in that. We do 200 a month, and then I have like 12 or 1,300 into regular stocks, I guess. So nothing crazy on my end. Good to see Jack Gallman, Beam Becky, Darren Ottman, Captain Dino Man. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning. Yes, Black Monday. Stocks went down this weekend. It's coming back. Personally, I think it's all artificially being manipulated to panic everybody about Trump's tariffs, which are 100% going to be working for us in the long term. So I don't even know why that's a question. Well, I do know why. The fake media is propagating that myth that tariffs are going to raise all our prices. I'm not worried about it. But what I am worried about is my health care. My health care costs are ridiculous. Now, everything I speak about right now in regards to healthcare is my own firsthand experience. This is not hearsay. It's none of the above. So, several years ago, back in the day, we had this President Barack Obama. Yes. And he created this healthcare marketplace. And me being self-employed, I did not have health insurance, although I could have had it for like $200 or $300 a month. But the Obamacare came out and was like, ultimately, you have to have health insurance or you have to pay us money. And that was my first experience with, I didn't have health insurance because his marketplace sucked and it was going to cost me too much, like $500 a month. And I didn't have it back before the marketplace when it was like $300 a month. And then I went and did my taxes that year and they charged me $500 a month for not having health insurance. And I went, oh, fantastic. Extra $6,000 onto my taxes that I owed. And I was like, that sucks. I couldn't afford health insurance with the marketplace, but you went ahead and hit me with it anyway for $6,000 that I'm still paying penalties and interest on. Okay, fantastic. So I end up in the marketplace. Now, I used to make less money, so that's for sure a thing. I end up in the healthcare marketplace, and I'm paying like $450 a month, $500 a month for not very good insurance, really high deductibles, really little coverage. But at this point, it's like I'm gonna do it because I'm getting charged otherwise, so I might as well get something instead of nothing, and then just have to pay the IRS. So I rode that horse for a while, and it was during that time, I can remember my middle son came to stay with me. And you know what, I think this was actually a few years later. Once Trump got in, he eventually reversed that penalty. So I got out of Marketplace. My son comes to stay with me for the summer, and he gets sick. And at that time, I had a place that I would go to. It cost me $90 cash to go and get a prescription for an antibiotic or whatever. And my wife says to me, oh, hey, she's a teacher. He's insured. I have insurance. I said, oh, fantastic. She's all, I'll send over the number. So I remember I took him up to the clinic, and it was $90 cash, but I'm like, oh, we have an insurance number. Can I use that? And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So he goes in, he gets his 5 minutes of, time with not even a doctor. It was a physician's assistant. And they prescribe him, the Z-Pack or whatever. And we go on our way. And they didn't take any money at the time. They just took the insurance and said, oh, we'll bill you. So we leave, and sure enough, about a week later, I get a bill for $149. I'm like, what? It's $90 if I pay cash. Why would it be $149 when my son has insurance through my wife's insurance company? That doesn't make any sense. And then as I'm reading further, they had already billed the insurance company, which paid them $300, and that was the maximum they would pay on the visit. And so I owed the balance of $149. So because my son was insured, I owed the doctor $449 for the exact same visit that cost $90 had I paid cash. That math sucks, right? I don't know who you are, but that's terrible math. $90. So would have been $90 cash, cost me $149, plus the insurance got hit for $300. They made $449 off that visit. That's bonkers. So I end up paying it. I'm like reluctantly, begrudgingly, because I got hustled. But then you got to start looking at the numbers, right? So they're charging the insurance companies stupid money for something that they're already making stupid money doing. And then ultimately all that does is continues to increase our insurance. So everything comes back around. We get forced back onto insurance. You have to be on the Marketplace or you have to owe money again. So we end up on the Marketplace. And then I get doing my taxes, and my income had jumped up significantly. And I had been paying $500 a month for my insurance, my crappy insurance again. And I go to do my taxes, and they go, hey, you made a lot more income. I'm like, okay. And they're like, your health insurance for that coverage you had, which I didn't hardly use at all, that coverage is now $1,180 a month. And I'm like, what? $1,200 for that coverage that had a big copay with very little coverage at all? And they're like, yeah, we're going to retroactively have to hit your taxes with that. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we're going to have to do that $680 a month times 12 months. We're going to have to hit you with a smooth 8,000 something in back Medicare for this past year. And I'm like, holy shit. The worst coverage ever, and you're going to charge me $1,200 a month for that from our healthcare marketplace? So then I find out, oh, if you are, at this point, we don't get penalized if we're not on it. So I drop it because my coverage didn't cover anything anyway. And now I'm paying, again, I get shanghaied into taxes, healthcare, Medicare taxes with that. So fast forward, I'm off of any kind of healthcare, and I go to my doctor. I'm diabetic. I needed to get blood work done. And so they're like, hey, here you go. this wasn't even for everything. This was just like basic diabetic blood, cholesterol, blood sugars, triglycerides, that whole thing. $560. And I talked about this when this happened. This was only a few months ago. And I was basically like, I'm too fat to be fat anymore, right? So I'm like, I've got to, this was my first of the year starting my getting in better shape, because I can't afford to be on medications anymore because they're all outrageous. So I end up going, it's $560 to get my blood panel worked up. I don't want to pay that, so I don't pay that. I don't get it worked up. Fast forward, I'm trying to get a new doctor. I can't get life insurance without the doctor's stuff. My old doctor sucks. It's this whole thing. So I need blood work. My wife goes on and she finds this company, Jason Health. And it's basically, if you have no insurance, it's affordable blood work. Now, I remember back in the day, I'd go get my blood work done. It didn't even seem like it was that long ago. It'd be 60 or 80 bucks, right? So $560, I was shocked, right? I was like, this is terrible. So this new blood work company, they help you if you're not insured, Jason's Health. So I'm shouting them out. And basically it's affordable blood work. So I get everything under the sun done because I hadn't had a full workup in forever. And it was $96, and that was it. It could have been 60 bucks, but it was 96 bucks. I go in, same place, Quest Health, get my blood work. They actually got me results that day, which was unbelievable. And you have to wonder to yourself, why is this not just the norm? Why does it have to be a special company? And I remember this back when I had heart stuff going on, and I had to go to the heart specialist, and they did the monitor and all the stuff, and he wanted to put me on, it was Jardiance at the time, for my out-of-control diabetes. I went to go pick up the prescription, and it was $500 for a month. He had given me a 90-day, a 3-month prescription. They're like, it's $1,500. And I'm like, what? And because I was trying to get my heart issues resolved, because at the time it was a little scary, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, how much for the 1 month? And they're like, it's $512. And I was like, I'm gonna have to pass. And it wasn't, I left, and then a lady, one of the pharmacist ladies, overheard the conversation, called me and said, can you come back inside? I think we can help you out. Man, I got all these texts running right now. Hopefully this isn't cutting out. Give me a thumbs up if I just cut out or if everybody can still hear me right now. Because literally, Fish Stacker is telling his whole life to Emerald right now. And all I can see is Fish's text just rolling. Stop texting, Fish. All right. Good. I'm going to keep talking through it. So she calls me up. I go back inside and she's like, listen, we have a coupon, a manufacturer's coupon, blah, 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 blah. And we can give you the Jardiance for 80 bucks for a month. And I'm like, okay, great, I'm in, 80 bucks. But even at that time, I was just like, why is this not the way? How many people have driven away and they didn't get a phone call? How many people's moms have driven away and they couldn't pick up their prescription because nobody stopped them to say, hey, there's another way. There's a coupon. There's a this. There's a that. Why is our healthcare such a scam in America? And it is. It's a scam. They literally force you into it. They charge you an arm and a leg to where it's not even livable. And then in the same exact medicine goes for pennies on the dollar in other countries. And it's so infuriating. And the reality is, the pills, the medicine, it is all a scam because we can heal ourselves. Now, not all the time. There's some issues. I have a friend, she got a transplant. You know, she's got to be on medications the rest of her life to make sure that that works right? So there's some people that clearly can't help that. I'm diabetic. I can help that. I can help my blood sugar numbers so that my numbers are better. But my doctor, part of the reason I'm looking for a new doctor, my doctor who I had started with, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, their price was $80 for a visit with no insurance. Okay, $80, cool. And then it went to $100, and then it went to $120, and it was now $160 for my visit with no insurance. Now, when I had insurance, I paid the $50 copay, and my insurance was getting charged $500 for that visit from the doctor. Total crap, right? Like, it's total crap. So, and it's the same thing. I've seen people talk about, they go to the hospital or whatever, and they're like, oh, the cash price for your visit today was $700. Oh, you have insurance, you can't pay the cash price. Your copay on this is $1,500, and they charge your insurance $10,000 for the visit. This stuff is really happening. And it really is such a scam. And I think we lose sight of it. As soon as you start making something a requirement, I feel like your scam detector needs to go off immediately. You know, auto insurance, I get it. I get why we have it. I get all that. But when they continually keep raising the prices, and then they keep paying out fraud like it's nothing rather than taking care of the situation. And then they just keep raising the price. So all these good people who've never had an accident in their life have to pay $300 a month to insure their vehicle. That's a huge amount of money, right? Health insurance is the same way. You force us into having it only to overcharge the health insurance companies, which leads to us having to pay more and getting less for it. It's so frustrating. So when you find something like this, Jason Health, I can get all my labs done for $60 cash instead of $560 cash from my doctor's referral. Yeah, I feel scammed. I feel like that is a crock of crap, right? That's terrible. So for all the good people out there that are trying to do the right thing, to pay your bills and this and that, you just get ripped off. It's a big one of these to all of those people. But to all the people that pay nothing, right? They pay in nothing. Maybe they're not even citizens. They pay in nothing. They go to the hospital, they get no bill. They go and get whatever work done, whatever medications, no bill. Why do I have to pay that? That shouldn't be on me. And I get it. I pay my taxes. I do these things. But I work my ass off to do those things. And it does get frustrating because you see now that system getting abused, not only by the people using it, but then by the doctors that are in that circle, then by the companies that make the medications, then by the government that's defrauding everybody and pushing that money around. Like, it is such an affront, such a fraud. Healthcare is like probably the biggest fraud in America. And then you look at other countries and you go, oh, they really actually have free healthcare, which nothing's free. They're taxed for it. But the same prescription costs X amount. And I'll give you another story. That Lingo that I was using, that blood sugar tracker, $40 a pop. And it costs even less than that in Europe. But here in America, they put a governor on it so it doesn't work over 200 blood sugars. So because then they don't want it competing with the one that they charge you, that your doctor has to prescribe to you here in America. Like, this is detrimental. They are doing actual harm to society for profits, literal harm for profits. And I really hope, I haven't brought up the Make America Healthy Again, the MAHA. One of you brought that up. This is one of those things. I'm hoping all of this is going to get addressed. Like, there's a million things to address. But yes, these people are thieves. They're thieves. Doctors are getting filthy rich anyway. Why do they got to get the kickbacks? And I won't even go on about it, but the jab that everybody got pushed on 5 years ago, they didn't tell us my doctor was getting kickback $300 a person that they sent over, right? They didn't tell me that. My doctor was all too happy to tell me I should go get it, even though statistically the numbers didn't match up. Oh, you're high risk. You really need to go get that jab, Tom. You got to get over there. You got to get it. You got to get it. And you got to get the follow-up and the next one and the next one. And now it's come out all that was BS, right? But my doctor got paid. My doctor took the money. He didn't give me my best interest. He gave his pocket's best interest. He got filthy rich off it, right? So it's frustrating. This whole system sucks. Personally, I will go to a doctor when I have to. I will find my own antibiotics otherwise, do my own research. I've been using the fish mocks and all of that stuff. It works great when I need it, period. I'm going to be doing an online. They're saying now it's $29 a month or $189 for the year. Sign up for an online doctor. I can talk to somebody online. Doesn't matter that I see my guy face to face or not. I'm talking to an actual person, and they say it'll be replaced with AI soon enough anyway. But all I need them for is to get my metformin and my high blood pressure meds. That's all I'm looking for. So for that price, $30 a month, I'll do the online doctor, and hopefully we can put these people out of business, because my FaceTime with my real doctors never got me anywhere. So no, I don't trust the system. I don't like it. It's not a conspiracy. If you have fantastic doctors, congrats. Just be sure that what they're telling you is the truth, because my experience is they are all financially motivated at this point in time. That's my personal experience. So the healthcare system's a scam. They're not trying to keep us alive. They're trying to keep us sick. And we'll see if this video stays up or not. I don't know. Tell me below if you have a similar experience. You're getting charged X, Y, and Z when somebody else can get it for cash for a fraction of the cost. That's a scam. That's a ripoff. I shouldn't pay money for coverage that then just gets charged more money and I owe more money. That's BS. That's a scheme, right? So anyway, that's it. That's what I got for you today. That's the talk. Thanks for watching. You know what? I don't mean for these to be ranty, but when I'm going through it and I'm spending the money, it's frustrating. Because not only me, I see other people getting ripped off and taken advantage of. You know what? I'm a working class man. I can make my own options. I can make my own decisions. There's a lot of people, elderly or otherwise, they can't think for themselves like that, or they don't have an option. And that's what really pisses me off, because those people are caught up in the same circle, right? So it's one of those things. Steve, aka Fish, made it to the show after bombing my feed with his text. Thank you for coming out. Fish, good to see you. I'm out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. This is Pirates Podcast. If you don't enjoy it, don't watch. If you like what I'm doing, come on back and watch. I'll be here Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock every day. Something new to talk about, something new to discuss. We'll see you then. Pirate out. Arg.